Thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this adorable Stampin' Bella image called Spring Rain Tilda. Isn't she cute? I love her long wavy hair. I will put a link down in the description box of the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by outlining our image. For that today we're going to use C1, 0, and 00. I'm going to start with my C1, and I want to put in a little bit of darker shadows down here underneath of her hair. So I'm going to kind of go in here and just dab a little bit in some of these little spaces. And then I'm going to go underneath of her dress and over here a little bit, and then I'm going to kind of smooth it into this uphill turn there. And let's go down the back of her boot and over here like that. And then I'm going to go with C0. And now I'm just going to start, let's start here at this second boot. And I'm going to go all the way around. And I went right over the edge of my C1. I'm just going to work my way around to the other side, and this gives her just a little bit of a shadow so that she looks like she's kind of popping up off the page, not quite so flat. I like her to look a little bit dimensional. And work our way over here to this side, and again I'm going to go ahead right here where I did my C1 and go right along the edge. And then I'm going to add some C00. So again, I'm going to start right down here, and I'm going to touch the edge of my C0, and I'm just going to make my shadow a little bit wider this time. Go over here, up here to her top of her head, and I want to go do all these little raindrops too. So I'm just going to kind of start here at the top and swirl around back to the other side, and here's some little raindrops right here. And then I'm going to continue around here with my circle, or with my shadow. And I'll come back and get these raindrops in a minute. And down here. And then I'm just going to go down along those lines and around this one. There's some little strips right here. Now let's give her some grass to stand on. For that we're going to use G94, 43, and 40. I'm going to start with my G94. And I'm going to go up past the sole of her boot a little bit. And then we're just going to brush this out. That. And then I also want to go underneath of her boot. So let's go right along here. And then let's bring the shadow up kind of even with this side over here. And then I'm going to add some G43. And then a little bit of G40. I think I'll go right on top of this line on this one. And same for this side. Let's go on the top a little bit. And then I'm going to go back again with my G94 and just give us a little bit more shadow underneath. Let's do our skin and our cheeks next. For that we're going to use for skin E11, 21, 00, 000, and E50. For our cheeks I'm going to use R02, 12, and 11. I'm going to go ahead and start with E11 down here on her leg. And she's got some great little dots here underneath of her skirt, so I'm going to use those as my guide. I'm just going to go right along the edge there, and then I'm going to come down the back, and just a little tiny dab next to her boot, and then she's got her knee here, she's got some dots, so let's go ahead and do that, and then this little knee wrinkle right here, I'm going to put it on there, and then we're going to go down just a little bit on the edge of that side. Then I'm going to add E21 next. So I'm touching down on top of my E11 and just lightly brushing a little bit away from that. And I think I'll come around this side just a little dab. And then I'm going to go with E00 to fill it in. So I'm just going to go right across the top. And then I want to add a little bit of a yellow tone, so I'm going to add my E50. So again, I'm just going to go right across the top. And then we'll go up here and we'll do our hand. So again, we're going to start with E11. And let's do underneath of her sleeve first. And then we're going to do our thumb and the bottom of her hand. And then a little dab underneath this raindrop. And then again, we'll do E21 next. So just brush a little bit along that edge. And underneath our raindrop. And then we'll add E00. And then I'm going to go over there just a little bit left with my E000. And then to add our yellow tone, we'll go over the entire thing with E50. Okay, and there's we can't see her hand on the other side, so let's go up here and we'll do her face and her neck. So again, we'll start with E11. Let's go underneath of her chin a little bit. That, and then I'm going to take my E11, and she's got some dots here on her forehead, so I'm going to start right there, and we're going to come right around those dots and along the edge of her face, and I'm going to go down here to her shirt, and then I'm going to add E21, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring this color around on this side of her face. And then I'll soften this edge, so I'm going to brush lightly on the edge of that E11 and flick out here into my white. Just a little bit. Then we're going to add E00. Same thing, let's touch down on top of our E21. And we're just going to feather out here with some light brushy strokes into the middle. And then E000, again touch down on top of your E00. We're going to add a little bit out here further. Okay, and then we're going to add some cheek color, and then we'll go back and add a second coat. So let's do R02 first, and I use these little dots on her cheek as my guide. So I'm going to use my darkest color down here on the edge. Same for this side. And then R12. And then R11 to soften the edge. Okay, and then we're going to skip E11 and we're going to go with E21. I'm going to do that just a little bit right here from the edge. Come up onto my cheek. And same for this side. Let's go right along the edge. And then we'll add E00. So let's go right here along this side and go over the top of our cheek. And we'll soften over here. And I didn't worry about the eye. I just brushed right over the top of both sides. And I think I'll add a little bit more up here at the top, just soften that edge just a little bit. And then we're going to go across the entire thing with our E0000. So we're just going to go, I'm just going to brush my brush clear across from side to side. And then to add my yellow tone, I'm going to go over the entire thing with E50. So again, I'm just going to go right along the edge and swish clear across her entire face. I think I'll pinken her cheeks up just a little bit more, so let's grab R02. R12. R11. And then we'll grab E000 to soften that edge. Let's work on our hair next. For that, we're going to use E44, 35, 43, and 50. I'm going to start with my E44. Let's go in here and add a little bit of dark spots. So let's go right here underneath of her chin just a little bit. And then she's got it where it kind of bumps out right here. So I'm going to go up like this. And do a little bit right here. It kind of bumps in right here. So I'm going to do a little dab right in here. And let's see, it kind of curls under right here. And right here it's curling out away from the edge of her face. Let's add some in there. And then here where it's kind of going underneath, let's add a little few strokes right here. And I'm just going to work my way up. Let's go up here to the crown of her head now. Let's do a little bit in here. The roots. And then I try to get in where there's a few little indentations, so where it kind of dips down, like here's a little dip. And right here. Just add a little bit of texture. And some of these little creases. Okay, I like that side, so let's go over here and do this side. So again, I'm going to, and she's got a little bit right here that's underneath of her arm. So let's go ahead and add some dark color in there. There. And then we're going to do underneath of her chin. And then again, we're going to do some of these waves. So here's some waves that go in. And maybe a little bit down here underneath of her hand. And let's see, here's some that comes up. And here's a little crease. And we're just going to add some dark places here occasionally. How about right here? I'm just kind of using some of the bumps on her hair that are already there to add a little bit of color. And let's see here. Let's go up here and do her roots real quick before I get too far out. And let's see. Just kind of willy-nilly putting some in here. Here's got a little dip, so let's put a little right here. And how about right here? And I'm going to grab E35. Let's just go and continue adding some color. Set a little bit right here in this crease for that. work our way down to the bottom. And we'll go over here and do this side. Let's go ahead and start up here at the roots. And now, let's go to the next color, which is E43. Hop over here to this side. And then I'm going to go over the whole thing with my E50. Just kind of smush all those colors together. Same for this side. Just going to brush clear over the top. And I'm going to leave her like that. Since we have a couple of the browns out, let's hop down here and do our boots and add. So for these, we're going to do E49, 44, 43, 42, and 41. And I'm going to start with my E44. And let's start over here. And I'm just going to do a little dab right along her leg, or the inside of the second boot. Like that. And then let's go over here and do this side. So I'm going to come around the back of this, down here, and we're going to bring this across the sole of her boot, like this. And then I want to do some of these wrinkles. So here we got a little, that's kind of rolled over, and we'll bring this down here, and right here's a little bit of a crease. Then we're going to add E43. And I'm lightly touching down on my E44 and just kind of barely bringing a little bit of this color out that way. Let's bring this around. And then we'll add E42. I'm going to go ahead and fill this side in because there's just a little bit left. And then I take my E41 and just brush over the second boot, this top one. And then I want to do the whole thing again. So I'm going to grab E44. And let's work, and I'm going to leave this boot over here alone and just work on this side. And I'm going to bring my color out just a little bit more. And then E43. And E42. And then E41 over the entire thing. I gotta set it down here in my light section and kind of swirl it around here in the middle, and that will push the color out to the edge. Then I'm going to take E49 and I'm going to color the sole. And then I'm going to do the little shadows here on the back. For her dress, let's use R83, 81, RV52, and 11. So we're going to start with our R83, and let's do right on the sleeve, a little dab, and then we'll do a little bit up here where her sleeve's coming away from her face. And we're going to bring this down like so. Just add a little bit of our shadow color in there. And then I'm going to go with R81. And I'm going to brush just a little bit past our R83. And then we're going to do RV52. And I want to lay this down over the top of the last two colors. And go past. And then we'll add RV11 over the entire area. And we'll hop down here and do the skirt part. So again, I'm going to start with my R83. She's got a little line of dots, so I'm going to fill that in right here. And then I'm going to go underneath of her skirt. I'm going to try to keep my line really skinny. Or underneath of her apron, sorry. And then we're going to bring this color back along here. And along her hand. And then again, she's got some little dotty lines right here, so I'm going to go ahead and do those. And right here some. And then I'm going to go R81. So I want to soften that edge of that last color, so I'm just brushing lightly across the edge of it. Bringing it out just a little bit. And then we'll add RV52. And remember, we want to go over the last two colors. So I'm just starting at the edge and flicking out here to my white. And we'll go over here and do the same thing. And then we'll go the entire thing with RV11. And then I'm going to take my R83 and go back and add a little bit of these shadow colors back in for some of these dots. For her apron, let's use C3100 on her colorless blender. I'm going to start with C3. And let's do this little, the top of her apron first. So I'm doing a little skinny line along the top of the little skirt here. And then down here on the ruffle, I'm going to just give a dot of color in each one of these little half circles. That. Then we're going to add some shadows here onto her skirt. So there's already some lines right here, so I'm going to use those. And I'm going to bring this down like this. Same for this one. Let's bring that down. And we're going to bring this around over to this. And then she's got a bunch of little dots right here, so let's add a little bit of our shadow color in right here. Then I'm going to add C1. So I want to touch down just the very edge of our C3 and soften that up. Add a little bit in here on this side of our ruffle. And then I'm going to take C0, or C00, and we'll soften that edge even further. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and just swipe over the entire thing. Just kind of squish those colors together and soften those up. And here I got a little bit of my skirt color, or my dress on my skirt, or my apron, so let's erase that. For the raindrops, let's use BG02 and triple zero. And I'm going to take my BG02 and I'm going to give each raindrop a little swipe of my darkest color on the back. And same for this side. Let's do a little bit on where the little line is at. And then this raindrop. And then I'm going to take my BG triple zero and just color those raindrops in. And then I'll give this one on her hand just a little bit more color. So let's go BG02 again. And then soften it with our BG triple zero. And for her eyes, they didn't stamp as dark as I like, so I'm going to take my 100 pen and just very carefully brush over those. So there is our beautiful Spring Rain Tilda all colored up. Didn't she turn out cute? And then again, here is our finished card. So on my finished card, I did some Spica glitter pen in her hair to add some sparkles. I did some Sharpie white paint pen on her cheeks and for the little dots on her eyes. And then I put some glossy accents on the raindrops, so they're all shiny and lifted. Her and her mat are on popped up, so she's popped up. And this little white frame here, it goes behind the pink dotty piece on this side, and then the pink dotty piece comes over the top of the frame over here. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, make sure and leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.